Hey, how's it going? David from Comic Book Investments. Yeah, so this is going to be a market analysis on Hulk 181s. Now, I've said in the past when I got Hulk 181s that I keep them back. It's because Hulk 181s keep on getting more and more expensive. And I got to the point where I'm like, well, if I'm selling them today, I could hold for like 6 months and get even more, like a lot more. Not just like, oh, you get, 2% more, 3% more, like a lot more. And it's been skyrocketing to the point where it's like I think it's worth just to stay back and wait wait till it levels out because there'll be a point when it will level out. Um, so yeah, if you couldn't tell by the picture, that I just have just tons and tons and tons and tons of them. Like, yeah, all these are Hulk 181s. I got a few other graded copies here. But yeah, I've just been buying them up and just nonstop. Like, how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I got 15. I've been buying them for a long time and just setting them away whenever I get them. For a while there, in like 2019, 2020, financially I couldn't hold on to them. I needed to flip them and make money. But I've been rebuying recently. Some of these are recent, some of these are actually very old. um, because I actually forgot about them. To be honest, I remember I was good. Because I was buying them, I was putting them away, and I totally forgot because there's a point where I'm like, oh, we need to sell this to make money, and I did that so much to the point that for like, oh yeah, I stashed away a bunch. So recently, I've acquired this one. I acquired a couple weeks ago. It was actually on a comm haul. I acquired one this week as well, and one the previous week. I get probably like two a month, maybe three a month. And I've just been putting them away. I'm actually going to do that with Giant Size X Men #1 as well. Just grab them, put them away. But I want to do a market analysis on basically where it's going, where it's been, stuff like that. Because I used to, when I first started this, I remember I would never pay more than around $300 for a Hulk 181. And if it was a nice copy, maybe 600, like a really nice copy in the 9.0s and above, maybe 800 to $1,000, like maybe. And yeah, now it's just like, $1,000 get you a page. It's just crazy, like how much they've gone up. Like I think, like I was looking up because a 1.5, I want to say is like 1,500 or something. We'll dive into the numbers a little bit. I'm trying to go off my memory. But yeah, these have been things going up higher and higher and higher and higher to the point where I'm like, it's just worth keeping back until it levels out. And there'll be a time because I had a 9.8 signed by Stanley, Lenwing, and Ramita. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. It's been a while. In that book, we had 9.8 signed, signature series, so gold label. It sat for years. And we ended up selling it for 30,000. And but now I think I saw a 9.8 go for like 50 or 60 non-signed. And so I was like, wow. Just like we would have held that book for another 2 years, we'd double our money. And yeah, so yeah, I've been holding it back. So the reason why it's popular, it's the first appearance of Wolverine. I mean, anyone that collects comics knows it's the holy grail of Bronze Age. Um, and I had, what did I say, 15 holy grails? So I'm super powerful. I don't know how that works. The more holy grails you have, do you get more powerful? Something like that? I don't know. Do you get, unless it's Indiana Jones, then isn't the holy grail, you get everlasting life or immortality? Are you immune? So I'm 15 times immune. I don't know. But whatever the case, I have 15 of them, of these grails. Too bad they weren't action #1s. Holy grails. That'd be nice. um, but yeah, so it's the first appearance of Wolverine. It's so sought after. They're recasting Wolverine. X-Men are going into the MCU. It's just gonna be, crazy. Like, I still can't believe that they're so expensive. So growing up, I bought my. I used to work for my dad. My dad was a big time dealer. He retired when I was in my high school years. But when I was younger, I worked for him. Instead of working to get money, when I was younger, I'm talking about I worked for him when I was like 8 and 9 and stuff like that. I would just get comic books. And then I worked for him before I had a car. So probably when I was like 14 or something, I worked for him a bunch. And the two runs that I wanted that I got was the Hulk run. Hulk was my favorite, and the Turtles run. So I had a complete run of Hulk minus number one. I never had Hulk one, but I had two Hulk 181s. I had a 9.4 and I had like a lower grade copy. And then I had a complete Turtles run. I might have had a second printing of Turtles number one, but I definitely had a third printing. I don't know if I never had a first. And so then I was in high school, I had a car and stuff like that. So anytime I worked for him, I just needed money to pay gas and, you know, having money as a high schooler. But then my car kind of broke down, and so I needed a new car. And my dad suggested to sell my Hulk 181. And so it was, I think it was a 9.4. And so I sold that. And I want to say, it's been so long. I want to say I sold it either $2,000 or $3,000. I think is what I got for it. I can't really remember. You're asking me something that happened like over a decade ago, more than a decade. Yeah, maybe 2 decades ago or something. So yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what a 9.4 is worth now. So that's, and to think that it's ever going to stop, it's no, it won't stop. Like it might slow down, it might dip a little bit, but there's no way that, you know, a 9.8, if it's worth 50 grand now or so, is going to stay there forever. Like it's just the way it works. I mean, comics are it's such a good investment. They've always been going up. Like, so yeah. So let's dive in the numbers and see what's what. All right, thanks. So here, let's look at Hulk 181. All right. So as you can see, all greens. This going up and up and up like crazy. If we look at the census here and see what the highest one is, there's one at a 9.9. I remember that sold a long time ago. It might have been a decade from now. And it was, I think it was maybe $1 million. Private party, 500,000. It was a lot. But yeah, so you got 126 and 9.8. And then you got some signatures, stuff like that. So it's not impossible to find. But yeah, let's just look at a 9.8 real quick. Yeah, so if you would have got it way back in here, you're looking at like 20 grand, you know, and if you looked, it's kind of went down a little bit. See how they're in there 20 to 25 and then it went down? That can happen. But then it stayed right around there in the 15s for a long time. And that's when we had ours. Ours was like right around here, and it stayed and stayed and stayed. And I think we kind of sold it right here when it started going up. But now, like 60 grand for a 9.8. It's crazy. Ours is a signature series too. We've had a couple 9.8s actually, but none that are signature series. But yeah, if you look at like something like a 9.4, you know, same story. You know, they were in, you know, this is probably right around when I sold it for my car, somewhere one of these days. This is 9.4, yeah. So somewhere in there is when I sold it for my car. But yeah, I mean, it kind of was steady, which is also good because then you can count on it as if you were buying it, then it's, you know what it's worth. And the variance, it's like, if you look at something like this, it's like, oh, why is it 13 sales? Why was 21 and one was 33? It's because some are in auction, and then usually the higher numbers are buy it now. So buy it now is like, this is the price I want. I don't want to go any lower. And someone has to fork up the money, or they can wait till it comes in auction. So like in this year, particular 2008, there's only 13 that ever sold. How many of these were auction? Usually the auction number has a weird number, like 2164. It's not 28081. Like 2750, that was probably buy it now. These are probably buy it nows. This is probably like an auction. That's an auction. So an auction usually goes cheaper because it depends on who's looking, but could go more expensive. But so yeah. So as you can see, it just keeps going up. And yeah, see a 1.5, just 1.5, just terrible grade. But 2014, you pick it up $400. Now it's 4 times that. So we can look at this. Look at the rate of return. All right. So for 4.0, I did 4.0, 8.0, 9.4. And the reason why I did a 4.0 is because normally a 4.0 in this age of book, like a Bronze Age, is not the best. But since it's basically the holy grail of all Bronze Ages, it's good. So you can see in 2005, a 4.0 would get you $180, so it wasn't that much. 2010, 250, and the difference, in 5 years you got 40% return. Not great, but something. But then 5 years later, they're selling for 700. It's 180% return. Then it's nearly doubling that in 2018. Most recent sale, $3,000. So if you look at that, if you would have bought one in 2015, sold it now, it's like 15 years later, you would have made $2,800 on your 180, which is a 1,500% return. If you jump over to the 8.0s, you got yourself $600 in 2005. Slight jump, not very big, but then this is when it looks like 2015 is like the year when it really started jumping, in 2018, so nearly doubling or over doubling, and then here over doubling again, and here it looks like it slowed down a little bit. Not slowed down, but didn't double. But overall, you're looking at 1,000% return on something you paid $600 for. And even if you wanted to go from 2018 to 2021, 3 years, you're looking at 62% return, which is great. And then, back in 2005, could have got one for $2,000 for a 9.4. And as you can see, just steadily increasing all the way to where now they're selling for $15,000 for a 9.4. It just seems ridiculous, and this is wrong, but yeah, so it's sorry. So it's 13. Like if you would have bought one for $2,000, you would have made 13,000 off that $2,000. This is crazy. So yeah, they just keep on going up. I mean, my suggestion is to buy and hold. And it doesn't matter how long you hold for. It could be 1 month. It could be 1 year. It could be 10 years. It's going to go up. This is a book that will always go up. It's a safe investment. I tell people, depending on your price range of what you can afford, if you can afford, if say you're in the $1,000 to $5,000 category, the books I suggest, the number one book I always suggest, get yourself a Hulk 181. Get yourself a Hulk 181. That's the best investment you can get. I also suggest Giant Size X-Men #1. But Hulk 181, get that, and that's the best investment you can make. And if you're in a higher tier, like you can afford like 30,000 or something like that, maybe get yourself a Fantasy 15, for Spider-Man, or you can get yourself a really high grade Hulk 181, or you can get yourself a Turtles 1, first printing. Those are books I suggest as like long-term plays. Like my brother came to me and asked me what I should get. He picked up a couple Hulk 181s, a couple Giant Size X-Men #1s. He's had them for like 3 years. But he doesn't know anything about comics. He just wanted to invest because he sold his company. And so I was like, these are the books. I actually contacted him like 6 months ago. I'm like, do you need money? And he's like, no, not really. Why? And I was like, I was telling him how much his comics are worth. And he paid top dollar. I told him to buy through, like we didn't have the books at the time. But I told him like, here, let me find them and let me buy them for you. And all this, you pay me what I paid for them. But he's like, no, I want to do the auctions. And he wanted to go through, and he ended up paying like top dollar. I could have got it much cheaper. He would just contact someone on eBay and be like, oh, this is a fair price. I'm like, oh, Drew, you overpaid. But whatever. Neither here nor there, because he made money. Even though I think he overpaid for when he bought them like 2 or 3 years ago, they're actually worth way more now. So I don't know exactly what grades he has and stuff like that, but he might have Fantasy 15 as well. But yeah, so that's Hulk 181. Get it, hold it, don't let go of it. It's only going to go up. It's a safe investment. It's going to beat out the SP 500 majority of the times in the long run. So yeah, if you like this kind of stuff, my market analysis and what I think of the comic book and where it's going, please comment below another comic that you saw that I had in the comic haul, and I'll do one on that. Yeah, thanks.